Ideal audience for growth sounds exciting? Let's have a conversation about you working for Town Square Media. The right career choice is all about timing, and right now is the perfect time to join our team as an advertising account executive. Our comp package is amazing with unlimited earning potential, including base salary, 401k match, and more, along with world-class training and plenty of room for growth. If you're competitive, driven, and have the ability to communicate great ideas, we want to hear from you. Reach out to Michael Rubel, Market President at 609-910-5249 or visit careers.townsquaremedia.com. Town Square Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
In front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hinnick on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Now live from the Matt Blatt Kia Studios, here's Josh Hinnick.
Josh Hinnick here on Thursday night, the day of the NBA trade deadline. And, well, the Sixers, I don't even know if the Sixers know what they just did. We're going to get into it this hour. We'll react to it here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. The text board is open at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And, you know, when I woke up this morning, like any of you out there, right? When it's trade deadline day, you get a little excited. You get a little bit of like, okay, well, let's see what's going to happen, you know? And then when the news came down late this morning, around like maybe like a half hour before noon, basically an hour before noon, that the Buddy Hield trade was real. You were like, my reaction was, okay, I'm intrigued. This is the first of a several steps you're going to do, right? And then it felt like the rest of the day fell flat on its face. All right. And we'll dig deeper into the Buddy Hield addition, because I do think Hield was a very shrewd and smart move by the Sixers. But it was the moves after the Buddy Hield trade that really just didn't make any sense. And the Sixers can say whatever they want at a press conference. You know, Daryl Morey will have some sort of explanation, but whatever his explanation is, I'm telling you guys right now, it's going to be a frivolous explanation. Because actions speak louder than words. And the actions of Daryl Morey and the Sixers organization was that they don't know what they're doing. And I can't believe I'm saying that. And it's not because Daryl Morey is stupid or Elton Brand's an idiot or anything like that. It is very obvious that this organization has been utterly and completely paralyzed by the uncertainty of Joel Embiid's future. It is insane that you have a guy that just had surgery and you still have no idea when he's coming back. And everyone has a different interpretation of if and when he is coming back. And instead of asserting yourself and say, look, we are going to prepare for a scenario, whether Embiid is here or not, that we are going to put our team in a position to win. And instead of doing that, you maintain flexibility for another unknown. The other unknown being the offseason. And you look at a team like, just to, put the other end of the spectrum. You look at a team like the Knicks. The Knicks have done everything to make themselves Eastern Conference contenders this year, along with being flexible so they can add more star power in the future. The Sixers didn't do that. The Sixers made one trade that was explicitly an addition to the team, another move that was lateral, and two other moves that don't make sense. Look, I like the addition of Buddy Hield. I think Buddy Hield has value because this team needs more three-point shooting. And Buddy Hield was demanding a trade out of Indiana anyway. He didn't want to be there. He's going to be a free agent, so he's going to be motivated to come in here and play well. As Brian Windhorst explained earlier today on ESPN TV's NBA Today.
3 or 4 games ago, he got pulled from the starting lineup and put on the bench.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what went on there, but I think you're going to get a player who's looking to be highly motivated because he's headed for free agency. And again, smart front offices, they walk both paths. The Sixers still have their $55 million in cap space headed for this summer. They still have their 3 first-round draft picks to trade.
And listen, that's great. You got a guy who's going to come in here and want to be the best version of himself to help this team be successful. And I'm all for that. I like the Buddy Hield addition. And frankly, getting rid of Korkmaz in and of itself is a win because that guy didn't want to be here. That guy had been not wanting to be in Philadelphia for a long time. So get rid of him. Doesn't want to be here. It's like the Flyers say. If you want to be here, get out. And Marcus Morris, that whole situation is weird. I'll get to that later. But when you trade away Pat Beverly, that was the moment that I realized the Sixers don't really have an idea of what's going on with Embiid. Because according to Pat Bev, on his podcast with his co-host from Barstool Sports, he explained that Daryl Morey had told him 2 weeks ago that they were not going to trade him. All of a sudden, Joel Embiid gets injured, and now at the deadline, he gets traded. And it's just such a strange series of events for a guy to get traded only because the star player got injured. Now, look, Pat Bev is taking it in stride. He said on his podcast that, he wants to bleep and win and that, he's all about trying to go out there and, be on a championship contender. And he went on Twitter X and said that, he loves Philadelphia. He loves the fans. He'll miss his teammates. He's excited to go to the Bucks. He has no ill will toward Daryl Morey. But acquiring Campaign in exchange for Pat Bev, it feels like it's not really an upgrade. Now, look, I know why this team did this because it wasn't Beverly or Payne. It was because you gave up 3 first-round picks in the deal that got you Buddy Hield. So the Beverly deal was one of the deals that brought you back a second-round pick. Now, what is Beverly bringing this team? 3-point shooting, just like Buddy Hield. But now you're losing defense. Now you're losing a guy who is a leader in the locker room. You're sacrificing Marcus Morris and Pat Beverly for more shooting and the theoretical potential of more scoring. Look, Cameron Payne has showed himself to be a very valuable backup point guard. But at the end of the day, Cameron Payne is not going to make up for what you're losing defensively. He's not going to make up for what you're losing in terms of the leadership in the locker room. And then we're all processing this whole, all right, they got rid of Pat Beverly. They dumped Daniel House for a salary dump. And then out of nowhere, about 5 minutes before the trade deadline hits, the real gut punch happened today. And this is where I'm telling you, they must be planning on making some big moves in the buyout market, because this move is probably going to be the move that comes back and bites the Sixers in the rear in the future. The 76ers traded Jaden Springer to Boston. Now, in the grand calculus, Daryl Morey has now recouped 2 of the second-round picks he already traded away. But Jaden Springer was like if anyone ever watched the movie Fast and the Furious, and Brian shows up to Dominic Toretto's garage with a beat-up car, and he says, I brought you a 10-second car. I owe you a car. And at first, everyone's laughing at him, but they realize that through some fixing up and some, tuning up and a new paint job and cleaning parts of the car up, that the core of the car, the engine, the basic structure of the vehicle was still at a high level. And when they got that Toyota Supra on the road, that thing was a beast. So, to me, that's Jaden Springer. Jaden Springer was getting fixed up in the Sixers garage, and he was already starting to show signs that this guy could be a player for this team for years to come. And what do? They give him to Boston. And you know what's going to happen in Boston. They're going to use him better than Philadelphia. And then when the Sixers play the Celtics in a couple of weeks, Jaden Springer is going to end up having like 3 steals and 12 points. And every Sixer fan is going to be crying and moaning because why did Daryl Morey get rid of this guy? And that's where the whole thing just grinds to a halt. Because, yes, they got Buddy Hield. They got value. But the rest of the trade deadline was them putting themselves in the position for the buyout market. And I understand the buyout market is better this year than it has been since like 2017, 2018. But there's no guarantee with those guys in the buyout market. There's no, hey, this is the guy you need to get. Hey, this is the guy that makes sense. Hey, you have to get. Because all the guys who are available in the buyout market are basically all the guys that teams couldn't trade. Teams were asking too much for these guys. And instead of being able to trade them, they're just basically buying them out, letting them go be free agents. And it's such a wild predicament we're in now, because you look at the guys who are now available in the buyout market. Robin Lopez, Kyle Lowry. Do any of these guys drastically change this team? No. But what they do is put the team in a position to maybe be better, but they did not do anything to make themselves competitive. There was nothing about this deadline that says we just got a lot better. We're ready to compete. And then when the report came out by Ramona Shelburne that the Sixers had extensive conversations with the Bulls about Andre Drummond, and that basically the Bulls were refusing to trade Drummond because of what? The only team that was stupider to the deadline than the Sixers were the Chicago Bulls. You got guys like Andre Drummond, Alex Caruso, and DeMar DeRozan, who are all tradable assets, and you held on to them for dear life because you wanted multiple first-round picks or multiple picks for guys who were not worth that value. I mean, it's absolutely insane. I don't understand what happened this deadline. I feel like I could have my buddy Brandon Scoopy Robinson walk in this studio right now with Brian Windhorst, Shams Charania, Adrian Wojnarowski, and Chris Haynes. I have them all take turns at the microphones here in the 97.3 studio talking to me, Josh Hennig, hanging out with you on a Tuesday night. And they could all give me answers for my questions. And I feel like none of those answers would satisfy me because at the end of the day, the Sixers fell on their face because they let the uncertainty and the unknown of Joel Embiid's future paralyze them. They're like a deer in the headlights who can't even see that the train is coming to hit them. Josh Hennick here, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See y'all. All right. I'm going to take a breath. Kind of recalibrate myself. I see text coming in at 609-403-0973. Jack and K-May Courthouse, I see you texting in. You're going to be first up when we come back from the break. You guys text in at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See, I mean, as a Sixers fan, are you bailing on this season now? Do you look at that trade deadline as a white flag that the Sixers have no definitive future this season? Because as of right now, even if Joel Embiid returns, does anyone really think that Joel Embiid is going to be healthy enough by the postseason for this team to make a run? If you don't agree with me, that I don't think so. Or if you agree with me, let me know. 609-403-0973. The text for your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle.
It's Flyers Jet tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedor bring you all the exciting play-by-play action. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Flyers hockey all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey, 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Something good to know from First Bank of Sea Isle City. We have all of today's innovative banking products just like the big banks, but we offer something they can't. A personal community focus. Let's get you started with Bill Pay. You save time when you pay your bills online. It's fast, easy, and convenient. First Bank of Sea Isle City, a community bank that delivers more for you every day. Personal service, today's technology, from the people who truly care. Learn more at firstbankseaisle.com.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-294-8831 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-294-8831. That's 800-294-8831. What do you have to lose? Call 800-294-8831. Again, 800-294-8831.
Football's biggest game day is finally here. Total Wine and More is ready with spirits and beer. With thousands of options, our selection can't be beat, and our prices are the lowest no store can compete. Only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Winter is here, and in South Jersey, that means the cold winds are a-blowing. Whether you need a brand new roof or the gusts off the ocean blew off some shingles, Sea Point Roofing and Siding is here to help. Their expert team ensures that you and your home stay warm and dry, but you won't just get a secure roof, you'll get peace of mind. Sea Point Roofing and Siding is South Jersey's premier roofing company where dependability meets excellence. Visit them at seapointroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
It looks like your luggage is over 50 pounds. Is there anything you can take out?
Oh, yeah. Let me just toss all these $20 bills.
Great. Let me grab you a trash can.
Stop. Instead of throwing money away, move some clothes into a carry-on. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Hey, Joe Montana here. Back in my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia, a bacterial lung disease that can be life-threatening. If you're 65 or older, or 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like diabetes or asthma, you're at increased risk. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about vaccination and learn more at knowpneumonia.com. That's KNOW pneumonia.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you only have a 401k, you're not getting the most for retirement.
Wait, what?
Add a Robinhood IRA on top, then they'll boost it by 3%.
You can do that?
And if you transfer in any retirement account, you get 3% on top of that.
Is there a limit to the match?
No limit. Robinhood Gold gets you the biggest contribution match of any IRA on the market. Sign up for Robinhood Gold at Robinhood.com/boost by April 30th. Subscription fees apply.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires gold for 1 year from first match. Must keep IRA for 5 years. Match on transfers subject to additional terms and conditions. Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
My wife and I both, we ended up mildly sick for a few months, and the nasal congestion was probably the worst part. I had like a post-nasal drip, just super congested all the time. We were taking everything we possibly could, but nothing really worked.
Kyrie was miserable until a friend recommended Navage. Navage offers immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Don't live in misery this cold season. Use Navage so you can breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
The biggest thing Navage has done has completely cleaned out my nasal passages. It was from the first use. I was able to just clear out anything that was stopping me from breathing correctly. Navage helps me clear the way, literally clear the way for me to operate better in the rest of my life.
Experience the Navage difference yourself. Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, Navage.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
If you're currently stuck in a loan or lease, AJ the Trademan can get you released. Matt Blatt Nissan.com. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig. on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Don't forget here on 97.3 ESPN this week, seizethedeal.com deal. Well, it's an opportunity for you for just $25 to get a $50 gift certificate to go to one of the 3 great properties inside the core of Tropicana Atlantic City. If you guys know, I was at Tropicana every Sunday for the football season this year with the locker room with Billy Schwein. And one of the crazy things about Tropicana is that they have all these amazing establishments, restaurants, and right now you have an opportunity to get a $50 gift certificate to food and drinks at Gin Ricky's, the Royce Social Hall, and or Wild Honey. So if you've never been to Quarter, you got to see how it's set up because you have the opportunity to go to multiple establishments, enjoy the best of all they have to offer. I mean, Wild Honey has great food. The Royce Social Hall is a great setup. And Gin Ricky's, I think the cool thing about Gin Ricky's is the size of some of their drinks. I mean, you only need to order one drink, basically, at Gin Ricky's. I mean, the one drink is a 42-ounce martini. What else you got to order at that point, right? So, seizethedeal.com goes live this Friday morning. A $50 gift certificate for just $25 to the Tropicanas. Either you can go sample Gin Ricky's, the Royce Social Hall, or Wild Honey. If someone wants to go out for food and drink, Wild Honey. If you're looking for someone that just grab a couple of drinks, whether it's craft cocktails or, some bar snacks, that's the Royce Social Hall, or Gin Ricky's, where you can get some of the largest drinks you've ever seen. It's absolutely wild over there. And it's only with seizethedeal.com. All right. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 97.3 ESPN. Mobile app powered by First Bank of CI. I promised I would get Jack from Cape May Courthouse his text in first. He says, unfortunately, we're going to have to wait for one more year, but the Sixers are going to make a splash move this summer with all the assets and the cash and the picks to make a real move moving forward. I hope for the team to come around when Embiid gets back. Hope he's healthy and dominate. I believe he can for the first time ever. We might not have a tired, worn down Embiid if the surgery went as planned. That's from Jack and Cape May Courthouse. All right, so there's 2 very different things that Jack brought up. And I understand you are 100% right. It's the idea that the Sixers, they did not acquire Buddy Hield, or they didn't go out and get any players and give up a bunch of draft picks. They did not waste their assets, right? When it comes to the offseason. But it still feels like they've wasted their assets for this season. And as I've said before, Jack and Cape May Courthouse, there's no guarantee that you are going to be able to take any of those assets that you have and turn them into anything. And here's why. The free agent class coming up, and I'm not going to go through the whole list. I'm just going to give you the biggest names on the list. A 34-year-old Klay Thompson, who is having the worst statistical year he has had in a decade. Tobias Harris, I doubt you're going to give him a big contract to come back. You're not bringing back James Harden. According to reports, Pascal Siakam really wants to be in Indiana and wants to play with Tyrese Halliburton. Gordon Hayward is getting older. I don't know how much of an impact he can help you with a Sixers team moving forward. Kyle Lowry is going to be 38 years old soon. You could have had DeMar DeRozan at the deadline, and so why would you get him now when he's going to be turning 35 soon? And you just acquired Buddy Hield. And then there's D'Angelo Russell. That's the list. So who on that list are you saving up your assets for? Now, I know you might say, but Josh, what about a guy who's going to be a free agent in the next offseason that you can get a head start on? Sure, let's pull up that list. Well, I doubt the Lakers are going to trade LeBron to the Sixers, okay? Because LeBron wants to play with his son. And unless the Sixers are going to draft Bronny James to entice LeBron to come to Philadelphia, I don't see that happening. Anyone really interested in trading for Paul George at this point? Is he still a good player? Yeah, he's a good player. But is he the kind of player that this team is going to be like, you know what, if you get that guy, he's going to put you over the top? Because right now, Paul George for next season is going to be 34 years old. All right. His birthday is right before the summer. So for next season, he'll be 34 years old. This season, he's having a very good year. But he also has a history of injuries now. Ever since he left Indiana, he has been inconsistent as a healthy player. For the Clippers, he has either been injured or COVID happened. And that's why he hasn't played a full slate of games. Now, he's healthy and good this year, but again, 33 turning 34. How many more miles does he have on that body? And do you really want to give up your assets for Paul George? Next name on the list, Ben Simmons. Nope, not happening. Next, Drew Holiday. The name sounds great, but do you really think the Celtics are going to trade Drew Holiday to the Sixers? The Sixers may be crazy enough to trade the Celtics a good player, but I don't see the Celtics doing that in return. Denver is not trading Jamal Murray. Chris Paul, too old. Keep it moving. Brook Lopez doesn't fit. Keep it moving. Malcolm Brogdon, interesting player, but are you really going to acquire that guy for a bunch of assets and hope that's going to be the difference maker? I don't think so. The only name on this list that makes me interested, there's two, but there's one specific one that makes me interested. If this player turned to his team and said, I don't want to be anymore, I want to be out, trade me, and the Sixers used all of their assets to absorb him, the one guy is Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is 26 turning 27. And the great thing about Brandon Ingram is he is just now coming into his prime. And he is a lethal enough player as a scoring threat that you could put him on a team with Embiid and Maxey and say, hey, he's an upgrade over Tobias Harris. We all agree on that, right? That Ingram would be a better scorer than Tobias Harris. Now, the problem with Ingram is, even though he is entering the prime of his career, he's having a down year at age 26. Now, could he be better next year? Absolutely. But he has the worst, I think it's the second worst three-point percentage of his career. Second or third worst. I forget exactly what the number is. But he's down from last year. Last year, he was way more efficient. He's scoring 3 less points per game this year. And it almost looks like he doesn't fit what the Pelicans are doing anymore. So I could totally see a scenario where the Pelicans are like, do we want to keep this guy or not? I know the guy that some Sixer fans would love to see them get is Lauri Markkanen. And with the Jazz looking like they're probably going through a rebuild, the problem with Markkanen is the final year of his deal is only partially guaranteed. and it becomes fully guaranteed basically one day after the NBA draft. So if you're the Sixers, the only way you're getting Markkanen is if you get him during the NBA draft in June. You got to unload those picks. You got to open up the book and you got to go get him because the Jazz are not going to want his money to hit their books. The difference is between Ingram and Markkanen is that Lauri Markkanen actually is going to cost you about 20 less million than Ingram will. And if your plan is to seriously not bring Tobias Harris back, which is a real scenario, I don't think it's a guarantee Tobias Harris coming back. I don't know if he's coming back at all. Markkanen would be a great fit next to Embiid. So for Jackie K-May Courthouse, I don't see this team going out there and saying, hey, let's just do X, Y, Z. I just don't see that happening. But what I would say is that you're banking on what ifs, and I'm just not a fan of banking on what ifs. I just don't like that style. I don't like that mentality. I feel like that gets you into a lot of trouble. But I appreciate Jack from KMA Courthouse chiming in. Anonymous texter chimes in at 609-403-0973. Says Daryl Morey is an idiot. The season's over. And B's not coming back this season. Pat Bev should have retired a Sixer. All right. Couple things, anonymous texter. First of all, I don't think Morey's an idiot. And frankly, if someone read the way you typed this text message, someone may think you're an idiot because you spelled seasons over with SZNS. But you properly put the punctuation on should have. And when you spelled the F word, you put a $sign in there. So, I mean, is this a the kettle calling the pot black kind of deal, or? So I don't think Morey's a bleeping idiot. Okay, I think that's extreme. If the season's over, though, then why did they go out and acquire Buddy Hield? And why did they open up opportunities for them in the buyout market? See, you are projecting your own opinion on the situation. See, we do this a lot in society, not to get too hyper deep on everybody, but just hear me out for a hot second. We in society have a bad habit of projecting our own sensibilities, our own beliefs, our own opinions, our own perspectives onto other people because we don't understand something or we look at something through a certain lens, so we assume everyone else sees things the same way. So, if that's the case, that the season's over, then why didn't the Sixers just become sellers at the deadline? Listen, anonymous texter, it's obvious that the Sixers have been paralyzed by this bizarre reality of that Joel Embiid might come back. And so it has basically made them unable to think. I think the Sixers should be criticized not for being idiots, but for being unaggressive, for not being definitive about what they're doing moving forward. That's the problem. The Flyers were definitive they were clear and concise about getting rid of Cutter Gauthier. And now as they move forward and they're back on the ice tonight, you hear the game coming up at the top of the hour here on 97.3 ESPN. Flyers are back in action. They won their first game back on Tuesday. Could they get 2 games in a row? Well, you're going to find out coming up in about 20 minutes from now, probably more like 25 minutes when the puck drops. But for the Flyers, you know you are in a playoff run. And even though you're without Carter Hart, you know that you still can make some noise. For the Sixers, they're walking around uncertain. It doesn't make them idiots. It just means that they lack the fortitude that the Flyers front office has. I think the Flyers showed you already in the last several months that Danny Briere and Keith Jones are unafraid of doing what's best for the organization short and long term. And when they found out that Cutter Gauthier was the 2024 version of J.D. Drew, they immediately moved on. And it's crazy because we might be in a situation right now for it's supposed to be basketball season, right? You know, when the Super Bowl ends for a lot of people, and it's not a criticism, this is just, relaying a fact of life. For a lot of people, when the Super Bowl ends, your mind turns to basketball season. You start paying more attention to college basketball a month ahead of the NCAA tournament. You start checking in on the NBA. The All-Star game is coming up. You kind of see what their team's potential is. The trade deadline has been the week of the Super Bowl for the last couple of years. And so you become a guy who says, all right, football's done, so I'm going to transition to basketball. But if you're a Philadelphia sports fan, you might have to transition over to the Flyers. Now, they got a tough game tonight against the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets are a 30-win team this year. They're very talented. But you know what? You can enjoy the Flyers tonight with the ultimate game day companion, Union Forge Vodka. Cheer on the Flyers with the best tasting vodka produced right here in the Philadelphia area. Grab a Union Forge bottle vodka today as the Flyers take on the Winnipeg Jets tonight, as the rudderless Sixers are back in action tomorrow night against the Hawks. And you hear both games right here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers Hawks tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the Sixers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Maxey well beyond the arc for 3. It's good. He ties it. Maxey with another 3.
Coverage begins at 7 p.m. It's Sixers basketball all season long on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia 76ers basketball.
Here's Furco with a breakout. Oh, yeah, reverse jam. Court loss, twist, turns, dumps it.
97.3 ESPN.
Stop the countdown. Don't let the new year pass you by without upgrading your ride. So bring any trade, no matter the make, mileage, or condition. We'll take it, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, and put you into a new Matt Black Kia with low, 0 down payments, 0.9% financing, and 0 down payments until April. And only Matt Black Kia has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy. We know bad things happen to good people. We want to approve you. We finance your future, not your past. Even if you're currently stuck in a loan or lease, we want to get you released and into your new Matt Black Kia with 0 down, 0 payments until April on every new Kia in stock.
It's gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
With approved credit, not all will qualify. Credit may affect down payment. Offers can be combined. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details. 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes through KMF at $21.22 per thousand for 48 months. Rebates and incentives to dealer. Matt Black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
Sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose, runny nose, post-nasal drip, interrupted sleeping. I was groggy at the end of the day.
Allergies and sinus congestion were making Jana miserable. Then, a friend recommended Navage. Navage provides immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Navage helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
Navage gave me instant relief. I didn't have to wait 30 minutes. I didn't have to wait an hour, 90 minutes. I didn't have to wait a minute. I ran the rinse and I felt better.
Stop suffering from congestion and start breathing and feeling your best again with Navage. Navage.
I've had people ask me how I find relief, and I tell them Navage immediately. This thing is amazing.
Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a new Samsung Galaxy A15 for just $99. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Good talk.
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. In-store activation on single Silver Unlimited plan or higher required. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
For your big game party, you better pop in to Total Wine and More for a guaranteed win. We've got thousands of bottles down every aisle. Prices so low, they're gonna make you smile. Ask our helpful guides for a recommendation to add some spirits and wine to your beverage station. Discover something new and let the fun begin. Come on down to Total Wine and More for a guaranteed win.
Drink responsibly, B21. They are an elite division in charge of Jersey's most precious cargo. Okay, team, let's move. The New Jersey Lottery Scratch-Offs division presents new Precious Metals Scratch-Offs.
Jerry, this movie trailer music is giving me goosebumps.
I know, right? Bronze, silver, gold, and platinum scratch-offs with top prizes up to $1 million.
Now playing at lottery retailers near you.
Go, go, go. Must be 18 or older to buy a lottery ticket. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Rated PT for play today.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or hiring someone to move your piano instead of doing it yourself. So, do things the better way. Bundle home and auto and save up to 25% with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy, she sleeps well, she's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Nizam's Indian Restaurant on Route 40 in Egg Harbor Township is South Jersey's best Indian restaurant, serving authentic food from different parts of South Asia. Make your partner happy this Valentine's Day Make your reservations today. Nizam's is ready to serve you delicious Indian dishes. There are also many extensive vegan options. Open 7 days a week, 11:30 to 9:30 p.m. Special lunch buffet on Sunday from 11:30 to 3. Visit thenizams.com for more information.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennick on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All right, I think I got all the Sixers complaining out of my system, and I want to transition to some football because we got some news today that was very interesting with the NFC East. Brian Johnson, the former Eagles quarterback coach and offense coordinator, has now been hired by the Washington Commanders, and the Washington Commanders are hiring him to be their pass game coordinator. Now, the reason why I find this interesting is for a couple of reasons. One, it appears that the Commanders' coaching staff strategy is basically, let's hire as many people who have coached and worked in the NFC East as humanly possible. That's what I feel like their game plan is. And I'm not saying it's a bad game plan, but I feel like it's a weird strategy. I understood why Dan Quinn brought some of the defensive coaches like Joe Witt and others from Dallas with him. But pairing Brian Johnson with Cliff Kingsbury feels like a strange, odd move. And it feels like he's mostly there just because he's coached for the Eagles the last few years, and he's familiar with the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Giants. That's why I feel like that's the real reason why he's there. And I just am going to be curious to see how this works out, because Brian Johnson was one of the guys who got a lot of interviews, all right? And you're starting to see, as the coaching cycle kind of evens itself out, that there's a lot of coaches who got a ton of interviews who are basically having to return from the coach interview cycle with their tail between their legs, okay? Avero Ajero, the defensive coordinator for the Panthers last year, he's returning to Carolina. This guy interviewed for multiple jobs, head coaching jobs, DC jobs, the whole 9 yards. And now he's going back to Carolina? Brian Johnson interviewed for either head coach or OC at almost every city that had an opening. And he ends up being the pass game coordinator with Washington. Eric Bieniemy is unemployed. Mike Vrabel was unemployed. Bill Belichick is unemployed. Pete Carroll was an advisor for the Seahawks, whatever that means. And the Cowboys are still looking to fill their coaching staff on the defensive side. And it could be Rex Ryan. It could be Mike Zimmer. We don't know who it's going to be yet. But it feels like there's a lot of coaches right now that are in a very awkward position, because there's a lot of guys who already got jobs. And with how this whole cycle drug out, I'm just curious to see how this is going to impact coaching cycles moving forward. You know, there's a lot of people who are wondering what the future of college football is. And you know, for someone like Brian Johnson, there's no reason why he couldn't have gone back to college and maybe coach there. You know, there's no reason why some of these guys couldn't go to college. But it feels like that with the mess that is NIL, and with the fact that a lot of teams, they seem to hire people for reasons that had nothing to do with football. The whole, he's a great interview, he's a leader of men, he's a great CEO. Some of these guys were not hired just for football reasons. And I'm starting to wonder that if we are going to find out a few years from now, the last couple coaching hiring cycles, the teams mishandled the whole process. I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just putting it out there. You know, it's pretty odd that, for example, Brian Callahan is dragging the carcass of his father's coaching career, Bill Callahan, with him down to Tennessee. You know, some of these coaching hires, I think, are going to blow up in these teams' faces. And I think we're going to find out in a few years this whole thing was a mess. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night.
Saturday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein. Producer Nick Earnshaw joins me in the studio. I just returned from Las Vegas at Radio Row. I'll tell you all about it, plus play interviews with some former players and sportscasters. Brought to you by the John R. Elliott Hero Campaign for Designated Drivers, Litz's Market of Ocean City, Captain Chucky's a Seal. Plus, I finally caught up with the sportsbook consigliere Dave Sherapan. We'll play that conversation and talk with Stanley Cup winning head coach Craig Berube. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein, Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.